and neither will you. Mama didn't have time for nonsense, not while trying to raise 3 sons on her own. DeAndre did things Mama's way. End of story. The oldest child, he understood Mama had it tough. She worked all day and didn't get home until after 6. Grandma made dinner while Mama checked homework. By the time Mama got to bed, DeAndre knew she was beat. "I don't want this for you," she told him one night as they sat at the kitchen table going over his math. "You do right in school, get your degree, become a doctor or a lawyer." School came first. She'd already grounded DeAndre once for getting home late, and she wouldn't hesitate to do it again. "I'm not raising a fool. You got a 1 in a million chance to play professional basketball, but you can do anything if you study and work hard in school." He wasn't like some of the fools at his school, bringing home C's and D's. DeAndre had straight A's, except for math. He needed to ace his test this Thursday. Not that he'd get anything for it. Mama didn't promise anything for straight A's. "Why would I reward you for doing what you're supposed to be doing?" she'd said. DeAndre cradled the basketball and checked his cell phone. He had 10 minutes to get home. He could make it, but only if he moved his butt. He slid on his Beats headphones, listening to Lil Wayne, whose music Mama forbade in the house. She called Lil Wayne a tatted-up fillin' fool, which DeAndre actually found funny. He pulled the hood of his sweatshirt over his headphones and started jogging, each breath marking the air in a white burst. It felt cold enough to snow, though he'd never seen snow in Seattle. People said it snowed a lot in 2008, but he'd been too young to remember. He glanced up at the sky, not really sure what he was expecting to see. The clouds looked like cotton balls against an ink-black sky, the edges tinted silver from the light of a full moon. DeAndre hurried down Rainier Avenue with the lyrics of "The Block is Hot" busting in his ears. In his mind, he juked a would-be defender and changed direction, heading west on Henderson. That was DeAndre's best skill, changing direction without losing speed. He learned that from Terrell, and Terrell was going to the UW, at least for a year, before he turned pro. DeAndre wouldn't be going pro after just 1 year in college. He'd get his degree. "Don't give me that nonsense about going pro," Mama would say. "You tear up your knee, then what are you gonna do?" DeAndre booked it on Henderson, picking up his pace to Lil Wayne's lyrics. He'd crossed Renton Avenue, cut over the Chief South Trail, hopped the back fence, and pushed through the kitchen door with minutes to spare. Mama would give him that look, just to let him know she had him on the clock. Then she'd heat up a plate of spaghetti and sit down, and they'd talk while he ate. He liked those moments, when his brothers were in bed, and it was just him and Mama at the table. "Someday I'm going to buy you a big house," he'd tell her. "Big enough that you'll need one of those scooters to get around." "Why would I need a house like that? It's hard enough to keep this one clean." "I'm going to get you a maid, too." She'd smile. "You buy yourself a big house. Then you and Grandma can come live with me." "Your wife might have something to say about that." "Who's she?" he'd say, and break out in a smile. Mama would pour him another glass of milk and kiss him atop his head. "Eat your spaghetti and get to bed. The best growing hours are before midnight." DeAndre thought again about that final crossover and jump shot. Marvin had been talking smack all night, trying to get under DeAndre's skin, trying to make him lose his cool. It was just smack, and it didn't bother DeAndre none. Mama once told him, "You lose your cool on a basketball court, and I'll walk down from the stands and pull you from the game right then and there." DeAndre hurried to the corner and crossed 46th Avenue South, getting close to home. It had been so sweet, his crossover. DeAndre busted the ball up court, dribbling low with his left hand, then gave a burst of speed to get Marvin on his right hip. Nearing the three-point line, he dipped his shoulder like he intended to drive to the basket. Marvin bit and also dropped low. When he did, DeAndre planted his left foot hard. Marvin couldn't stop. He kept going right on by, already stumbling when DeAndre crossed the ball from his left to his right hand. DeAndre leapt from the curb at Renton Avenue South, his orange basketball floating from his fingertips and arcing upward toward the imagined